Hello, Globetrotters. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori, and in this community, we aim to educate, motivate, and inspire each other in all things travel related. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about some more trends, some changes, some things that are going to be different in 2025 for travel. So if this is the kind of content that you like, be sure to stick around. Click on that subscribe button down below. Like the content if you learn at least one thing new or you find yourself enjoying the video. And of course, share it with others who may enjoy similar content as well. Let's go. So for 2025, there are several travel trends and changes that could influence your plans. These developments emphasize convenience, immersive experiences, and sustainability, shaping basically how people will travel in 2025. One of the things I talked to you about in a previous video is the fact that there will be refunds. Now, the government in the US at least has set some standards for refunds for 2025. It started late in the year, 2024, but if your airline is more than a certain number of hours late, you can get a refund for your travel. If you are somehow displaced, say you end up landing in a different airport, or if you have to sit in a different seat than the one you paid for, all these different types of things. And it varies from airline to airline. So make sure that you check that out. I will link all of these links to all of the articles or the government websites, the specific government websites, if I can find that information for you. I will get you right to the source because we cite our sources around here. So that is the first rule that has changed, that you will be compensated for delays, for cancellations, for inconveniences up to a certain amount, of course. And so that is already covered. So if you have not checked that out, make sure that you go back and check that out in a previous video that I've done. I mentioned for you that there have been some updates to global entry. So in this video, I'm just going to briefly mention that, of course, you know that global entry, the fee has gone up for global entry plus TSA PreCheck. And also there will be a now free for kids under a certain age if they are under their parents who already have global entry. So if you are conditionally approved, you can go then and apply for your kids. And once they're conditionally approved, you guys can all do the interview upon arrival, or you can all set up different interviews. But it doesn't make sense. You might as well just take a trip together and enter the country in an airport where there is the interview in arrival. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a complete video about how to apply for global entry online. And I also talked about why you should not pay for PreCheck, but pay for global entry, because PreCheck now comes with global entry. Finally, it seems like they have been threatening us forever with this, but the star IDs are going live. So you will be required to have an ID that has that special holographic star on it whenever you travel, whether it's within the US or outside of the US. Of course, outside of the US, you know that you need a passport. If you don't drive and you don't have a driver's license, then you can go to your local DMV, to your county clerk or whatever department it is based on your city or your state, and you can get one of those non-driver ID cards. So you can get that, or you can use your global entry card. Your global entry card is a great option to use for your domestic travels as well. Another change coming for 2025 is that certain countries will be requiring visas for you to travel to Europe. So you want to check with the specific country. Majority of them, from what I saw, that they are all online, and you can just complete the information on there. Number 5, there will be increased routes and accessibility of flights. So there will be expanded airline routes, such as nonstop flights from Newark to Marrakesh and JFK to Sicily. So these historically less accessible areas, you're going to be finding that you can get flights directly to them, or even like indirectly to them, with just a little bit of a connection there for you. But we're going to be able to see more of the world, is what I'm saying. And you're also going to see lower fares because there's increased seat capacity. I know that Delta sent an email to all of their Delta Sky Miles customers, of which I am one. And I received the email saying that they're upgrading their seats so you're going to see them roll that out across their entire fleet of airplanes. But what that also means is, yes, it's going to look more modern, but the seats are getting narrower. Let's just face it. There's less seat less hip room, less leg room, because they're squeezing in more rows of seats so that there can be more customers on the plane. So of course that means that the prices are going to go down for us because there's a lot more bodies in the sky. They can fit more bodies on the plane. So, hey, soon we'll just be holding on to something like on the trains. We'll just be standing up and holding on the plane for an hour to get from one location to the next. I don't know. If it costs $30, I may stand up on a plane for an hour and hang on to a little handle. What do you think? Will you do the same? A big trend for 2025, all-inclusive resorts are expanding their options, expanding their offerings. And you're finding that before, where it used to be for older travelers, now it's younger travelers who are also taking advantage of the offerings in these all-inclusive restaurants. You're finding that these resorts are offering gourmet dining, luxury amenities, unique experiences. Chains like the Hyatt and Marriott are expanding their all-inclusive options. I've shown you on here before the Hyatt Zilara, which I was so impressed by in Cancun, Mexico. I visited there in 2023, December 2022, I believe it was. And that was a great, great, great resort. I was trying to see if I could visit that while I was in Punta Cana, but that was already sold out. So I didn't get to go and see the Zilara in Punta Cana, but I definitely have become a fan of the Hyatt line of all-inclusives, especially the adults-only all-inclusives. And of course, I have a video up here for you guys of some of the best adults-only all-inclusives for you to go to that are budget-friendly or not so budget-friendly, luxury line, all the things. So trust me, if you love travel, this is your one-stop destination, your one-stop shop, okay? So hang on. And if you don't see what you want, just leave me a comment down below and I'll be sure to make sure I take care of you, okay? Tech-driven travel. Oh my gosh. Everywhere this year you heard about AI, AI, AI. And I have used it for my own personal travel. And it's going to be more widespread, I believe, in 2025, because you'll find that people are using it more and more to not only personalize their itineraries, these AI-powered tools, but they're also using it for virtual reality previews. These are becoming more standard. It's also great for planning your trip so that you can have a more immersive experience that's more tailored, custom tailored to you and what you like. So you can say, tell the AI tool, hey, you're a foodie, you're a travel expert, and you're planning an itinerary for me for Rome. I'm a foodie who likes luxury accommodations, but I don't want to spend a lot of money and I want to stay there for only 5 days. Can you plan a day-by-day itinerary? The AI tool will do that for you. Yeah, it's that specific. You can be as specific as you need to be, and it will be as specific as you want it. And if it's not the first try, you can say, can you try that again with a little bit of a lower budget for what I had in mind? Okay, there's a whole bunch of new travel acronyms coming out, and I struggle with some of the acronyms that I see on social media. So of course, I'm gonna have to read these off to you. You know about FOMO, fear of missing out, and you know about YOLO, you only live once. Well, there's some new ones out there for you. There's JOMO, joy of missing out travel. So this is a focus on tranquil, off-grid retreats. But basically, people are looking for things that are off the grid, things that are not so techie and touristy, something that's more of a wellness retreat. I think I spoke a little bit about wellness retreats in the last video about 2025 trends. There's also phenomenon travel. So trips planned around natural events like the Northern Lights, or like wildlife migrations. People want to see the Great Migration. People are actually traveling for nature. People are actually traveling to see, the lights. And when there's going to be a certain eclipse or something like that happening, people are traveling to places where they can get a better view of these phenomena, because there may not be a chance for them to see it again in their lifetime, especially if it only happens once every 20 years or so. Set jetting is another term that's becoming very very popular. And this is when travelers tend to go and visit locations featured in films or TV shows, such as Yellowstone National Park for the Yellowstone series, or I know I went to Hawaii and they told me that this is where Magnum PI or Hawaii Five-0 or one of the shows was filmed by some place. And I was in a helicopter ride and I was too scared to even look to see where this thing was filmed because I was terrified of heights. It was windy and I kept feeling like the helicopter was going to smash into the mountain. But anyway, set jetting, that's the term. And this is also becoming very popular. All right. This one, I don't know if you can guess what this is. Gate lice. Gate lice. What is gate lice? This is when airlines are setting off alarms for people who are trying to board outside of their zones. If you've traveled recently by air, then you probably have realized that they are making it more streamlined. Instead of saying, A and B and C and D, they're saying zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. So they're trying to make it like numerical so that it's more streamlined. They can get people quickly onto the plane and the plane can take off rapidly and get you to your destination as fast as possible. So now when people try to jump the line to try to fool the system and say they're in zone 7 and zone 1 is being called, when you go and you scan your boarding pass, an alarm will sound. So it's like they're shaming you publicly for doing this thing, and they are hoping that it will discourage others because, there's a loud alarm sounding. They're hoping that it will discourage others from trying to do the same. So yes, gate lice. Yes, lice, like lice in your hair. I don't know who makes this stuff up. Number 9, sustainable and small town tourism. We're dealing with some inflation, and so people are trying to travel more sustainably. They're thinking about preserving the earth because we're dealing with also global warming based on what you believe and who you listen to, which talking heads on cable you listen to. But people are traveling more sustainably. People are doing more small town travel. They're trying to explore the areas around them. They're doing more staycations. They're doing more road trips. And so I'll be doing a series of those in 2025 for you as well. So I'll be showing you some tips of how to do road trips more efficiently and more sustainably. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you tune in as well. I'm still going to be flying places, but also trying to explore some of the states that I've not gotten to as yet. So even places that I've lived and things that I haven't done, I'm going to be doing those things. So stay tuned for that. And last but not least, solo travel. This trend continues to rise. I know I am a big solo traveler. So if you are looking for inspiration on how to get out and just, jump out of the group chat, if everyone else is just, their schedules are all jumbled and they're a little bit resistant to come on a trip with you, just get on out there and do it yourself. Get outside of your comfort zone a little bit, and the world is your oyster. The world is a safe place if you know how to traverse it safely. I look at travel advisories. I look at the weather before I travel. I look at tips from people like myself who have been someplace and they have a guide posted about a certain location so that I know what to expect. I know how to behave when I get there. I know how to blend in. I know not to go places where it would be dangerous for me to be solo as a woman and as a woman of color. So there's just so many different places. And you don't have to speak a multitude of languages. If you understand certain languages, yeah, that's great. It helps out, and it helps to just learn a few phrases, even in languages that you don't speak if you're going to be in that region, right? So for me, I find that a lot of people speak English and a lot of people are trying to practice their English when I travel. So they want to speak to me in English, even when I try to speak to them in their language. There's so many more experiences tailored for solo travelers, especially women, and how cruises are putting more solo cabins in their ships so that you don't have to be penalized by paying twice as much for being a solo traveler. And here is your bonus trend for 2025. I love a bonus. I love an extra credit. I'm an educator. If you know me, you know. So I am seeing more and more. As a matter of fact, I got an email 2 days ago about another data breach, and Equifax was sending me some digital card as a compensation for the data breach. But so many different places have breached my data and I have my credit frozen. By the way, if you don't have your credit frozen, I told you step by step, and I see a lot of people accessing that video lately. It's an older video, not that old. My channel started in 2023, but it's an older video, and a lot of people have been accessing to where it's like the second or third most watched last month because so many people have had their data breached. And so what you want to do is make sure that you freeze your credit. And when you're traveling, especially, make sure that you're trying to maintain a close eye on your credit cards. If you can, use cash. If you can't, use the tap to pay and use those apps because they're more encrypted than using your actual credit card. So using your phone, there's an extra level of encryption and an extra level of security to tap and to, go through using Apple Pay and those types of things, or Google Pay or Samsung Pay or whatever you will. So those are the coming trends for 2025, things that you have to be looking out about. What have you heard of? What have I not covered? Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to value experiences over things, because travel is the only thing you buy that truly makes you richer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.